This is going to be a pretty unconventional video, but quite literally like a full deep dive in my upbringing, how I went from lazy as fuck, playing video games all day, to eventually getting into online business, getting to 10K a month, losing all that shit, going 20K down, almost in debt, and now making between like 60 to 100K in a month. Last month was a little bit inflated, I won't lie, but I did make 100K last month, but probably on average, averaging like 60 to 70K. But the main reason I want to make this video is literally just to give you guys perspective, because I don't know, I feel like this Q4 kind of like bringing back the feelings I had last year when I was just testing products, I was down money, and I was just looking at other people for some form of like motivation, or not even motivation, but just hearing the perspective of other people and just being like, yo, this guy did it, so I can do it. And I don't know, if I feel like some people have asked me to make a video like this, so I was like, fuck it, why not? Why not today? But going all the way back to childhood to literally show you that I am no different than you. I was just born in a normal city, London, Ontario, normal childhood, went to a normal primary school. My parents, alhamdulillah, they were doing good. They were like still on the come up. You know, my mom, she was still studying and working on the side, and my dad was kind of like the breadwinner at the time and all this stuff, but we were doing good. Like, you know, we had a townhouse and everything, and by no means did my childhood feel like I was in, you know, the trenches or anything, you know, like a lot of these guys portray online. And that's one thing I never really related with. Whenever I saw other people's stories, them talking about coming out the fucking projects and they couldn't eat and couldn't do that. To be fair, a lot of them do over-exaggerate it to kind of create that gap between where they are now and where they started. But a lot of it is true as well. You know, who am I to discredit that? But that's one thing I never really related to. So coming up from a point where it's like I was just in the suburbs, like I was okay. My family was doing good. My parents, loving parents, supportive, everything. That was very different for me. But growing up, completely normal life, primary school, all this stuff, whatever. Moved to Ottawa for 2 years in Canada, if you guys know where that is. Went there for 2 years, in like 3rd and 4th grade. And it was like super, super normal shit. Like there was nothing really crazy. You know, there are times where, you know, my family had to like kind of maneuver around some stuff. My dad had to stay back in London for 2 years, and he just worked there, kind of just to like provide for us. And then me, my siblings, and my mom, we were just in Ottawa, you know, living in an apartment, whatever. So that time might have been a little difficult to manage and stuff. And full credit to my parents, like I would not have had any of the child if it wasn't for their sacrifices. They literally came from Pakistan, like completely, like there's full credit to them. You know, they are the ones that really went from the trenches to this middle point. And I'll touch up on that later. But, you know, eventually then we decided to move back to, you know, another place a little bit far from Toronto, maybe like 40 minutes away from Toronto. I won't name the exact place because I don't want to dox myself. But moved there, small town, and that's kind of where everything just started to build up. You know, started making some friends, started actually solidifying myself in one location. I wasn't bouncing like friends to friends, you know, lost all my London friends and lost the Ottawa friends. Now I'm actually building a decent friend group, and a lot of these friends I'm actually friends with now till this day, and I'm very, very grateful for those friends. But normal primary school, like I said, like just normal schooling, normal everything. Went out, would go outside, play fucking basketball or all these random shit, go on bike rides, like super, super basic, mundane shit. There was really no difference. And even then, like I didn't have this concept, this like, I guess like innate hunger, like, yo, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that. Like life was somewhat easy. It was very comfortable. Like, you know, I'm very grateful for that. I had a great upbringing. And there are pros and cons to that, because if you have a bad upbringing, don't get me wrong, it's a very shitty scenario. Like nobody's going to sit there and wish for a bad upbringing, but you can use that to your advantage, right? And anybody that disagrees with that, even the people that are in those positions, they're dealing with the cards that they're dealt, if they don't recognize that, that's their own loss, because that alone can literally fuel this fire in you to go on this like upward trajectory where like you just like massively blow up, and it can be a blessing and a curse at the same time, right? But I didn't have that. I only had the blessing side, you know. So I didn't have this innate need to go out and, you know, make it or anything. And also I was like in fucking primary school. But same thing went to high school. I go into high school, very, very normal shit. Then COVID happened. COVID genuinely changed so much in my life. Like, bro, I remember in high school I was still fairly skinny. I was very normal, like just out with my boys all the time and doing shit like that, whatever. Obviously, I had my differences, you know, like I used to play video games a lot. So like me and like, I'd say like 2 or 3 of my friends outside of like our entire friend group. Our friend group was pretty big, like 15 people, 20 people or some shit. You know, we'd be on Discord and all this stuff, and we'd just be playing games and like staying up till like 5 a.m. in Ramadan and all these times. And like, we were playing video games like just normally what kids do. And it was a very, very normal experience. And then going into COVID, that's kind of when I like fully distanced myself from everybody else, honestly, because there was a lot of things I didn't partake in, like in high school. I feel like in my high school, bro, there was like these gangs and shit, like gangs, and these guys are always just banging out, fighting here, fighting there. Bro, my friends would call me like, yo, are you pulling up? Are you pulling up? I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm staying at home. I'm not a part of this shit, bro. Nobody has direct beef with you. If someone has like direct beef with my boy, okay, fair enough, like I'll pull up. But they're just fighting for no reason, some stupid shit. So I never really involved myself with that. I was at home kind of staying in my own lane, and then next thing you know, they FaceTime me 2 hours later and they have a fucking black eye. Like, I was like, bro, you guys are stupid. So stupid. All this shit, whatever. Avoided that. But then during COVID, that's when I was like, I fully distanced myself, kind of went my own path in a way. School, honestly, didn't really give a fuck. I would just turn on my class and I just played League of Legends. Started playing League, and that's when the fucking spiral happened, bro. I was playing League like non-stop for like 2 years straight. And to be honest, I think a lot of my ambition, my grind, my need for competitiveness stems from this. So I am grateful that I went through that period, although it was a little a little questionable. But I was just playing League, and it's not like I was just sitting there playing. Like when you play Fortnite, when you play COD or something, you're playing with your boys just for fun. Like there's no like competitive, there's no like ranking up, there's no like I need to be the best at this shit, I want to go pro and all this stuff. I'm talking like I would sit there, play like by myself, like queue up by myself for 12 hours straight, 14 hours straight, sleep, wake up, do the same shit on repeat, literally. And honestly, it was kind of just a loser, I'm not gonna lie. It was a very unique time, but I was good at the game. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? You call me a loser, call me all this shit. I could have turned that shit into a career. And funny enough, a lot of my friends that I used to play with back then, they actually do have careers out of this now. And these guys are playing on like professional teams and all this stuff, rank 1 all of North America, playing in like all these different big leagues and stuff. But like that was kind of like the path that I was on, you know? And I was really thinking about this earlier, like back then, like if you asked me what I really wanted out of life, like if you asked me what car I wanted, I would have told you I just want to go point A to point B. Like I just didn't care. I didn't care about materialistic stuff. I didn't care about being rich. I didn't care about anything. I just knew that I wanted to be the best at something. And I think that stemmed off of like this idea of like growing up, like there's nothing about me that stood out in a way. Like I was kind of just like, not like there. Like I had friends, I was never bullied or none of that, but like I wasn't like that main guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you're in high school and shit, like there's that one guy's clouded as fuck and all this shit. And maybe this is why I don't really care too much for like attention or stuff like that. Like I don't care to like flex stuff. If I do post anything, it's usually just for motivational purposes, personal brand, whatever. It doesn't matter, but like it's nothing, like I'm not arrogant with it. And you know, if you've seen some of my other content, some of the stuff I post, maybe you see that. But that's kind of where it stemmed off of. Like I was never like the best at anything, and I think that really pissed me off, like subconsciously. And when I found something that I was actually good at, and something that like I was genuinely like praised for, like being good at that game, it oddly did feel good. Like I won't lie, it did feel good in a way. So I wanted to be even better. You know, I wanted to play into my strengths. I wanted to keep going down that path. And then eventually, you know, the 12th grade comes along. And I was like fully ready. Like I was going to go to university to play this game, by the way. I was fully ready. I was down to go play this game, go to an entire university. I didn't give a fuck about school. I just wanted to go there to play the game. And then I studied all this stuff, got a tutor, all this just to get the like good enough grades to get into that school. And then once I got into that school, all of a sudden, I just didn't care to play the game anymore. I don't know what flipped the switch in my head, but I just no longer gave a fuck. And then I started going back and started doing normal shit. You know, I started going out with my boys and that summer, you know, going out, meeting people, whatever. Just spending a lot of time outside and just doing like, again, like kind of normal stuff like all my friends were doing. And it was nothing crazy. And up until this point, I didn't really have too many like entrepreneurial ventures. although I did have some things, but these I never really like accounted for. You know, I never really thought about them, but like in primary school, I would sell stuff to the kids in my class, like brownies, or sell brownies to a fat kid. Would sell like chips, would sell candies, would sell all this random shit. One point, saw fidget spinners in the dollar store when I went with my mom. I told her, yo, invest $70 into me. Let me buy these fidget spinners. I'll turn it within a week and I'll pay you back. Boom, I did that. Started selling fidget spinners on Snapchat and all this shit to people in my school. It was a pretty good profit margin as well. I can't lie. Fidget spinners were the move. I'm not gonna lie. If I did that shit at mass scale, would have made hella bread. But did that, and then started selling like Fortnite League accounts in like high school, back when I played like Fortnite and League a lot, whatever. But like these are like small things, I guess, that I didn't really notice at the time, but maybe they kind of like repositioned into like my way of thinking later on. And maybe that's why I was kind of fond of e-commerce as an idea, because that's all e-commerce is, right? You buy something for low, you sell for more. That's what dropshipping is. You're just the middleman, connecting the factory, the product from the factory to a customer, and you're in between, the marketing, getting people to buy. That's at the fundamental level, that is all e-commerce is. And that's what I did. Right? That like I was literally drop shipping IRL. And then it goes on even further, but I was talking to my friend. I think one of my friends, he was like hyper obsessed with kind of like Tate's message and all this stuff. I don't know if this is gonna get like flagged because I said that, but hold on. I was like hyper obsessed with all this stuff, and he would constantly tell me about it and this and that. I didn't really care at the start. And to be honest, I never got to a point where I was like obsessed with the message or anything like that, but it was just like, I just kept seeing things pop up, and maybe it fed into my subconscious or something. But it got to a point where it's like, I kind of just didn't know what to do. You know, now I'm going to a university that I don't even know if I want to go to, because the original reason I wanted to go, I no longer want to go. So when I got there, first year of university, first day, I'm like trying to hype myself up, trying to make myself believe that it was a good decision. Second day, crashing depression. I'm like, this is horrendous. This is like, I fucking hate this shit. This is retarded. What the fuck am I doing here? And I remember that semester being so dragged out in my head. Like, it felt so long. And I was like low-key in this, like, almost like this, like, low-key kind of depressed. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just funneled it into the gym. Like, I was doing like I've always done like this psychopathic shit. And I guess this has always been unique to me. But like, if I ever need to think, like, I'll go sit in a parking lot by myself. I'll go to the gym at 2 a.m. in the morning just to think, you know, just to kind of like ease any stress or like clear up my mind. And I just do all this shit on my own. And like, sometimes like I'll be going out with my friends, you know, we come back at like 12, everybody's tired as fuck. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the gym. They're like, what the fuck? Bro, we were just out for like 6 hours. We ate food, everything. You're still gonna go to the gym? It's like, yeah, bro, I didn't go today, so I need to go. And I go to the gym and go home. And those workouts were fucking tiring, bro. I remember. But I would still go. You know, I still had like this like initial discipline building up from somehow, I don't know. I think it's just because my friends used to call me fat. And then one day I just wanted to prove them wrong, because every time I told them I'm gonna go to the gym, they're like, yeah, he's not gonna stick with it, lol, he's not gonna stick with it, whatever. And then one day I just went, and then I was like, yeah, I'm going to the gym. And they're like, no, you're not going to stick with it, bro. You're just gonna fall off in like 2 days. And I just went for 2 weeks, and I fell in love with it. And that was like near end of high school. Like, I would say like grade 12. Yeah, that was literally in grade 12. And then that's when I started building a little bit of a physique. People started noticing my physique kind of getting a little bit better, all this stuff. And then first year uni, going back to that point, this is kind of where the whole transition started. Like, this is like where there was like this monumental shift in my mentality, the way I thought, the way I acted, like just entirely. And I just knew that like I had to do something. Like, it got to a point because like I knew I didn't want to be in school. I knew I didn't want to work a job. I knew all these things. I don't know from where. And I'm low-key, I try to self-reflect and understand where that even comes from. But I would try to understand these things, and I couldn't understand why. I just knew that I did not want whatever life that I had. And the path that I was on was not a path that would lead me to any form of fulfillment whatsoever. And that's what caused me to go down this like little spiral depression type of thing, because I knew I needed to do something, but I didn't know what to do. You know, so when you're in that position, it's like you're just trying to cling on to anything. So at that point, like, I would literally just walk an hour to the gym. Keep in mind, we had a bus. We literally had a bus that would take us to the gym right outside my dorm room, and I would skip the bus and just walk because the walking made me take up more time out of my day. So I felt like I was using more time, and I just would think. I would just walk, listen to music like Snowfall and like those like instrumental type music, type songs, and I would just walk. I would walk an hour. Like I'd literally befriend the crackheads on the way to the gym. One time this guy was like fent folded down, and I was like, bro, I had fist clenched. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if he attacked me, it was over for me. I didn't know how to fight. I still probably don't know how to fight that well, to be honest. I could do a little bit more now, but like back then, I was cooked if he attacked me. I'm not gonna lie, but I think he was too out of it to come at me. So, anyways, would go to the gym, 2 hours workout, 1 hour back, and I would do this all at night. Like I would leave at like midnight, 12, and I'd come back home by like 4:30 a.m. And like that just goes to show like how fucked my mental state was, like really, really fucked. And I wouldn't get started on like the relationship shit, because like it's a fucking canon event, bro. It's a fucking canon event. A woman is gonna fuck up your life either for the worse or for the better. It's one of the two. It's kind of goes back to that. Depending on your upbringing, you could have a really shit upbringing and use it to your advantage, or you can let that drag you down, pity yourself, and end up living some shit life because of it. You know, so it's kind of same concept. But for me, I've always used that as a sense of fuel, even though it really fucked with me for a long time. And then from there, this is where it like fully starts encompassing. I know I've been talking like 16 minutes just talking about how I got to this point, but this is where it like really fucking started. I remember, so I started talking to this girl again, and I moved back universities, and I'll deny it, and I used to say like, nah, I'm not switching universities, because I was, keep in mind, the university I went to was 2 hours away from home, and then I decided to transfer universities to one that were like where I could stay at home, and I could just commute from my house to the school, which is 30 minutes away, you know, and I could say, nah, I just want to transfer so I can be back at home, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna lie, she's probably a big part of it, and that was, I don't know, it worked out in the end, I guess, but it was pretty low-T activities, I can't lie. But anyways, I transferred schools after the first semester, and this is where things get a little different, and things actually start changing, like a lot. So I started going to school, started doing things I should not have been doing, and since then, a lot has changed in terms of how I view life, what I do, how I speak, how I act, how I view certain things. And I won't get into like religion or faith or anything, but this is around the time like I started to really, really dive into religion and faith, or shortly after this. But I remember that Q4, that winter season, coming back that second semester, leading into the next spring, so like that fall, winter season. Don't get me wrong, it was a lot of fun, but it's not the type of fun that you should be having, if you understand what I'm saying. So I won't dive too deep into that. But I remember at that time, coming back from uni, I was breaded up. I was living like the good life, but like the good life as a uni student. Like we were selling these AirPods, okay? And this is probably like the biggest venture, I should say. The biggest venture I did. And it was when I came back from uni that winter where I would start selling these AirPods, right? And I'm selling these AirPods, and like my boy put me on, the same guy that was like on that Tate shit, by the way. And this guy, he had a whole operation going on. This guy had literally runners selling AirPods for him, okay? And, you know, the side note is these AirPods were, you know, like reps, but they were high quality reps, you know what I'm saying? Like they worked, they were good. So, you know, to each their own, maybe it wasn't the most ethical thing, I will say. But what can you do? What can you do? I did it. What can you do? People like the fucking AirPods. Like it is what it is. You can listen to music. Cool. Why are you complaining? You know? So anyways, we started selling these AirPods. We were the market makers, bro. We were first to market on that shit. So my boy is out here. He's making bread. This guy is making up to like, I think he made like 100K almost, or close to that. No, not 100K. Probably made like 60K, like building up just like over a couple months. For me, I made less because it was like all me. But I made like 20K in like 2 or 3 months. And to me, at that time, that was good money, bro. All I did was I would just go eat out, hang out with my girl, hang out with my boys, do whatever. And like everything was free. It's like I was just paying for shit. This, that, whatever. And then later I buy a car. blow all my money on a car. That was a life lesson in itself. But honestly, I don't regret that. That car was fun as fuck. I'll probably end up making more poor financial decisions. But then I started selling all these AirPods, start making this money, whatever, and then AirPods die. You know why? Because the market literally got saturated. Like, everybody's kept underselling each other to the point where it's like, the market like quite literally just got saturated, and that died. So I lost all that money, or that like money making method, and then went through arguably, well, the only and the hardest breakup of my life, probably, because I feel like if I was talking to some girl now and we broke up, like I wouldn't feel nearly the same, because like first breakup hits different, and I feel like that like shapes you, changes you in a lot of ways. But that shit fucked with me so much. Shit fucked with me for a long time, and maybe like 6-7 months. Joe, but 6-7 months, something like that. And then in that time, that's when I started to like find new money making methods. You know, how can I improve myself? How can I, like, I would always say, and it's funny because maybe it's narcissistic or not, I don't know. I would always say, like, to her, I would always say, I'm gonna get jacked, I'm gonna get rich as fuck, and I'm gonna be a handsome ass motherfucker. So I'm gonna be jacked, rich, and handsome. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, like, I'm fairly built, I'm okay. I'm doing fairly okay money-wise. And I would say I'm like a well above average looking fella. I would say I'm all right. So, you know, that's the meaning of life. You know, you put that shit into existence. Now, you're probably asking, 21 minutes into this shit, what is this guy talking about? Everything leading up to this was just the backstory. This now is where things actually get fucking interesting, okay? And there's probably gonna be another like 15 minutes of this shit. But just, I'm telling you, shit gets good after this. Everything up until now was literally purely so you can understand that I'm no different than you. And my fucking upbringing, my initial journey was practically the same shit. But now, this is where I started running a clothing brand, because I was like, fuck it, people are running clothing. I see clothing brands all over my TikTok. I'm gonna run a clothing brand, this and that. I tried all these other business models. Keep in mind, I tried dropshipping. I ran 2 stores first year uni. I forgot to mention that. But it failed miserably. And then I also lost money in crypto and NFTs and shit. I tried a ton of shit, so much shit. But I ran 2 fucking TikTok shop, or not TikTok shop. I ran on TikTok ads, $20 a day. Ran it for 1 or 2 days, didn't get any sales, and I cut that shit. My budget was $20 a day on TikTok ads. And I was filming my own ads and shit. Oh my God, it was so retarded. But then, anyways, I keep getting sidetracked. Then I started running the clothing brand, okay? And clothing brand was actually like a very good experience for me. It was like my first experience talking to suppliers, first experience managing some money, Shopify, learning how Shopify works, the stores, building, all this stuff. And honestly, it felt really good. Like at a point, it felt really good because like, yo, I'm creating my own thing from the design. I'm not a designer, by the way. Like it was a pretty shitty designs, I'm not gonna lie. Everybody back home in my city, just like a lot of people just know that brand. And it's funny because people like connect the dots, like, oh, you're the guy that ran that clothing brand like 2 years ago? And they'll tell me that now. But that brand taught me a lot. It was incredible failure, I can't lie. The first drop, there was some hype because it's like, yo, my boy's running this, and like some people bought, maybe some people bought off TikTok. I tried making TikToks and shit, whatever. Some people bought it, they liked it, and then I ran a second drop, which was going to be a pre-order drop, and I got 2 sales. I got 2 sales on that drop, and I just refunded both of them. I said, fuck this, I don't have the capital for this, I don't have the skill set for this. How can I make money now? What can I do to make money now? And I didn't know. So again, I went back to this downward spiral of like, what the fuck do I do? What do I do? And I remember school started up. So this is second year uni now. It's fall season, September, first month. I'm just going through school, whatever. And like, probably enjoyed my time during that summer a little bit. I tried to at least. All these things just going through my head. And then I get into uni again. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing here, bro? This shit is so ass. Fuck this shit. Fuck these people. I don't fuck with anybody here. None of my classmates. None of the teachers. I hate the environment. I generally had like this fucking, I don't know if it was like social anxiety or what. I would literally go to school and I remember I would sometimes feel like chills, or I'd feel like in my heart, I would be like it's just telling me like, this is uncomfortable. You should not be here. This is not what you're meant to be doing. This is not you. Like, I don't know how to explain that feeling to you guys, Maybe it was just fucking social anxiety and just I was like low T as fuck. But I remember going into classes and sitting in these lecture halls, and I would just like, just this weird feeling would encompass me, and I just felt super, super out of place. Like genuinely just did not belong there. It's almost like you talk to this like new group of friends or some shit, or you talk to like a new person and you're like, yeah, this guy is nothing like me. I would not talk to this guy again, right? But then you can cut it off right there, right? School, you can't. You know, I'm fucking in school. So I pretty much stopped going to my classes after like the first like week or two. And like I would only go for like exams or something. So then shortly after, I remember in October or late in September, I was just sitting there and I was watching some YouTube videos. Literally, how can I make money? Like just looking at different business models online. That's when I came into sales. That's when I started looking into sales. And I came across this video. I watched 2 videos. I watched 2 YouTube videos on sales, 30 minutes long. Okay. Closer Cartel, if you guys have ever heard of that. I watched 2 videos. Those videos coming across my feed changed my life dramatically. Like dramatically. Okay. Instantly, I just knew. I just had this gut feeling, and yeah, I don't know. I call it the fucking ball tingle, okay? If you feel that tingle in your balls, chances are it's the right decision. That's why I've never invested in a wrong mentor. I've never paid somebody that has not ultimately helped me. Only one agency one time that kind of fucked me over a little bit. But you live and you learn. That's a pretty good win rate, hit rate, I would say, you know? So overall, my ball tingle, my fucking intuition is pretty spot on, right? And I literally had no money. Keep in mind, I had like $400 Canadian in my bank at that time. So I'm thinking, fuck, okay, I need to start doing sales. I need to get into this shit. How can I get into this? The program is expensive probably, right? I think the program is like a couple $1,000s. So I was like, okay, how can I come up with the money for this? And I remember walking around my room, how can I make the money? How can I make the money? How can I make the money? I need to join this. And outside my room, there's like a window. And outside the window, I see my car in the driveway. I see the car. Instantly, I'm like, I'm selling that bitch. Fuck that. I'm gonna sell that bitch. I'm gonna pay for this course. I'm gonna make more money and get a better car. Problem solved. So then instantly I knew I'm gonna sell the car. So I booked the call. I hop on the call, full closing call, whatever. I didn't even know this whole sales process at the time, even though I was like getting into sales. So I kind of knew I was gonna get on a closing call and the call was gonna try and sell me. So I hop on the call and I hopped on with one guy, and keep in mind, he became like a mentor to me, to be honest. He actually helped me out a lot after I ended up joining. And I credit a lot of my like sales success to him. Like without him, I would not have made any, I wouldn't say any money, but like it would have taken me a lot longer. But anyways, I hop on call and I literally tell him straight up, take my money. I'm in. Like, here's my card. I'm in. He's like, chill, bro. Chill. We just got here. Like, let's at least get you. Like, let me at least explain, what you're getting and like what. I'm like, no, bro. Like, just take my money. Like, yeah, you don't need to sell me. I promise. Just take my money. I'm in. He's like, chill. So we talk a little bit, whatever, and then eventually I pay for the course and I get in. And keep in mind, I had to take out like a mini loan or like borrow some money from like my school funding or some shit. Some like maybe I think like over like the 18 years, my parents saved up some money for school for me as I went older. Like to put like $100 a month or something aside, like as I was growing up. So that way I had like some school funding. So I was like, yo, mama, please, I'm gonna sell my car. You can have the keys, take me off insurance. Like I'll take myself off insurance, whatever. I'm not gonna drive the car. It's sold in my head. I just have to find a buyer, but it's gonna take me some time. So please let me just like borrow $4,000 from that fund. I'll pay back as soon as I sell the car. It took me like 4 months to sell the car, by the way. But anyways, sell that car, no hesitation, didn't give a fuck. And I'm all in this shit. I generally think to have the balls to do that, you have to be quite delusional, quite like out of it. But that's what I did. I didn't give a fuck. If I got scammed, who cares? It is what it is. I gave my trust into it. And I joined that shit, and that's all I did. For the next 6 months, my friends did not see me. They would invite me outside. Like if I pulled up to a motive, which was maybe like once in that 6 months, because it was someone's birthday or some shit, I came out out of respect. It was like an event. Like, holy shit, he's here. Like, it was very rare for me to leave the house and like deviate from my routine, my path. Like I was so locked into this. Waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, going to pray, Muay Thai, come home, fucking cold shower, journal, all that shit, read, dial all day, clean diet. I would go to the gym in the evening. So I had Muay Thai training and I would train every morning, Muay Thai, boxing, and then in the evening I'd go to the gym. So my body was low-key breaking down too, but I didn't give a fuck. And then I'd read before I went to bed. No YouTube, no TikTok, every social media thing deleted. I was just so locked into this shit, and it was crazy. Like that level of lock-in, I can't even like describe, I can't even explain. I just hated my situation so much that I just had to fucking get out of it. Then from there, that's where eventually, after a month, I finally get a call, and it was from the guy that closed me, right? I'll name drop him. It was Kishan. If you guys have ever seen Kishan before, he's in sales. He's big in sales, a really good guy. And he calls me, he's like, yo, this guy needs a setter, you wanna hop on? And I remember I was running around my room, I was like, fuck, yo, this is a crazy opportunity, it's a crazy opportunity. And then my boy got the position. And I remember thinking, I was like, like it's so easy to feel jealous in those situations, but I was genuinely happy for him, you know, because like that's my boy. And we were kind of like training together, and we were like from the start, you know. He got the position, I didn't, whatever. I wasn't gonna let that like stop me. I just kept going back to the thing. And then later, 2 weeks later, I get another opportunity from Kishan again. And he's like, hey, are you still looking for an offer? I'm like, fuck yeah, give me on an offer. And then after, he gives me a better position, and that team changed me for in a lot of ways, to be honest. Funny enough, that sales team, the way the sales manager ran that team, I actually operate my teams in ecom very similarly now. A lot of similar attributes, for better or for worse, but they're there. Now, I get into that team. This is where I actually started making money. Before this, I was maybe making like 2K, 3K a month just from sales. Now I started to make a little bit more money, right? Started making like 4K, then 6K, and then I had like 3 months making the exact amount. I don't know how that was possible. 650. I made 650 for 3 months straight. That was my income from commissions. I don't know how, but I just could not pass this barrier of 650, whatever reason. But still, $6,650 USD in my pocket from home on my fucking computer. I work 12 hours a day, but I still make some money, you know? And that was kind of like my intro to it. But then I started working in sales for like another 6 months, I think. And then June time, May, I think, is when I literally paid $5,000 for one-on-one calls to learn closing from Kishan over the course of 2 months. As soon as those 2 months were over and I finally got a little bit better at closing and I was ready to start closing, now I automatically think, fuck this shit, bro. Fuck sales. This shit is like modern day slavery. I might be making some money, but this is like, I might as well be sitting in a cubicle. What the fuck am I doing here? I need to get out of this shit. And I was losing my mind. Literally the same shit that happened back when I was doing league, and I went to that uni and I saw his vision and everything, and I put everything on the line for that. And then once I was like there, I was like, I don't even want to do this. And it was the same thing with sales. I get into closing and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Fuck this. I don't want to do this shit. And I'm not joking. The same way I got into sales, I remember cooking chicken and rice one day in June, and I come across another YouTube video. And it was a video just like this of some guy sitting there in his room calling me poor as fuck and telling me how e-com can change your life, blah, 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 and how being poor, there's no nobility in it, and it fucking sucks, right? Having to worry about how much fucking money you spend on food and how much fucking, like, just like the basic necessities of life. And I relate to that so much now because I really don't buy that much shit. I will soon, and I will probably splurge a decent amount of money, but up until now, I haven't really spent that much money. A lot of it has been reinvested, setting myself up, or I just buy food. But I spend fucking $50 on acai smoothies every single day right now, and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. That could be a car payment for somebody, but I don't give a fuck. That is a much better way to live. And that's what I extracted from that information. And to me, that to me was freedom. Not having to work for somebody else, being able to work on your own hours, being able to have your own sleep schedule, not having to attend your own meetings, like meetings that you don't create, because I have meetings now, but I set the times. I'm the boss. If I want to move the meeting, I'll move the fucking meeting, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's on my terms, right? And people are listening to me. That's what I wanted. And I just got fascinated by it. And I remember cooking this chicken and rice, and I'm fucking watching this video. I'm like, bro, this guy's making a lot of sense. Again, I go upstairs, it's $2,500 on a Discord group. It was just a video course, by the way, 11 hours of content. My Discord has so much more shit than what I got from that. But what I will say is that Discord, like full credit to that Discord, like I learned so much in terms of just the like thinking about life and also how to fucking do ecom. So that was like my roots. Now I get into ecom and I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I can balance sales and ecom, okay? Maybe there's a way I can sit there and do sales, close deals, make like 10K a month, and then do ecom on the side because, you know, it's a smarter thing to do. And every single one of my friends would tell me, that's so stupid, you're making money, why would you throw it away, you're being greedy, you're doing this, you're doing that. Only one friend supported me in that decision. Only one. And I'm talking like my hometown friends and all this stuff. And this is also why you should just keep things to yourself. But one friend supported me, and I was going to do it regardless. But one friend supported me. And honestly, that was more than enough for me to be like, fuck it. I'm balls to the wall. I don't give a fuck. Right? So I just dropped my sales income. And keep in mind, I was closing for a guy big in the e-com space. So I was thinking maybe I can do sales in e-com or in the e-com space, and then I'm doing e-com, so it kind of works. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I have this like autism in my brain that does not allow me to focus on two different pathways at the same time, or at least I couldn't at the time. So I left, and I pretty much dropped my entire income. And I don't recommend everybody to do this. I had like maybe 25K Canadian saved up still from my time in sales. Over the 10 months I did sales, I maybe made 40K USD. Maybe, or 50K USD, some shit like that, a little bit in between there. Honestly, fuck all. It was nothing, right? And, or well, to each their own. I know to some people that might be a decent amount, but like, with my way of thinking now is fuck all. Okay, I can make that in like a day and a half, 2 days. Or wait, no. What I was making monthly then, I can make in like 2 days now. That's what I was trying to say. Point is, from there, I get into ecom and I just go all into this shit. And now I have pure focus on ecom, absolutely nothing else going on. And I'm just like sole focused on ecom. And it was so much harder than I thought at the time. And it felt so long and so dragged out. And honestly, I don't have enough videos of me like on Snapchat or something documenting that process. I have a lot more videos of sales, but ecom, I just didn't give a fuck. Like I was just working for the next 6 months from August to December, just losing money, losing my mind. I remember literally sitting on the prayer mat, literally just tears coming out my eyes, just praying to God, just like, yo, please let this next test just be the one, please. Just show me some light. It feels like I'm following this dark path, this dark tunnel, and there's no fucking light to see. There's nothing here that's telling me that what I'm doing is even gonna happen, is even gonna work. I just purely ran off the belief that, hey, other people have ran it before, so why can't I? And I've done sales before. I've made something of myself before. So again, why can't I? I believe in myself and I know I'm capable of achieving great things. So why can't I? That's all I ran off of. Blind faith, blind everything in the ability that I could make it work in time before I ran out of money. Okay. And I tested 25 total products in that time. In those 6 months, I tested 25 products. That's 25 different times where you thought something is going to work. You built out an entire store and all the creatives, you get everything ready, you work out the offer, you source it from the supplier, you do all this shit, all the product research, everything. 25 times. For some people it's less, for some people it's more, but in my case, it was 25 until I actually hit a winner and started running the brand I'm running now. But I remember that time period being so long, and looking back, it really wasn't that long. In that time, I probably lost between $15,000 to $20,000, probably closer to like 17, I'll be honest. But that was just money on testing, wasting money on Facebook assets. I would probably waste like $3,000 or $4,000 on Facebook assets, literally my first 10 tests, to show you guys how retarded I was. And you guys probably might be making similar mistakes to me. I would literally think that I needed a new ad account for every single test that I ran. So I would buy a new BM setup for every four tests. A BM setup was like $500-$600 for one BM. So I'm spending $600 on top of the testing budget I'm spending on every 4 tests. So I lost like $2,400 because I bought 4 BMs. They all got fucking banned. All my ad accounts got banned. So it was absolutely retarded. So fucking stupid. And then later I started doing some stupid mistakes as well. The first 10 tests, I didn't even analyze shit. I was just putting up random product tests. Oh, okay, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. I didn't think about anything. I didn't apply any learnings whatsoever. And then it wasn't until eventually I actually started implementing that things started to change a little bit. But nevertheless, finally hit a product. And to be honest, I didn't even have this like strong conviction I didn't have like a strong conviction that my product was going to work. I just, like at that point, it was like the emotions were out of it. I just went off this belief, went off this faith that eventually things would work. And I simply just had to keep doing it over a long enough period of time. And eventually it will succeed. It will work because I've seen it work for other people. So that's all I need. I just need to know that it worked for one person on the planet. And if that was the case, it can also work for me. And then it did. We started scaling this product, and keep in mind, we scaled pretty slowly. You know, month 1 was like 30K. Then month 2 was like 130K. Month 3 was like 260K. Month 4 was like 450K, something like that. But you see people like scaling up to like 500K a month in like their first month. And to be honest, I see that as like a blessing in itself, because I would argue our backend setup and our brand itself is a lot more established than a lot of these other like drop shipping guys. So, I am grateful that it took its time and I learned a lot along the way. But the point is, it took me so much time and like an accumulation of so many different things that happened in my past that led me to that moment, to that point where I was in a position where I came across the right product at the right time. I had the right skill set, where my preparation met the opportunity and just fucked and gave me this fucking beautiful child that is my brand now. And that's literally it. That's literally it. Everything that you do up until the point where you quote unquote make it, even though I don't think you make it, I think the goalpost just keeps moving further and further, and you'll understand this later if you aren't making money yet. Given the fact you don't fucking give up, don't be a pussy, don't be a bitch. But understanding that everything you do up until that point is what got you to that point. So it's like, you could think when you're testing these products, I just need to get lucky, or this is all luck-based and it's practically like I'm gambling. No, it's not. It's not. If I was not showing up every single day, I would not have came across the product at the right time that I did. If I did not have a skill set of building stores and running creatives and actually understanding some of these concepts and creating good offers and all this stuff, I would not be able to sustain a brand or be able to build that up. That came from the 25 failed tests that I had before. This idea of me running a dropshipping business, I would not have this desire for freedom that I had if I did not experience myself working in sales for 10 months and just fucking going through this practical slavery. You might get paid a little bit. Some of you might think 10K a month is a lot. 10K a month is fuck all. 10K a month is fuck all. Genuinely fuck all. And you're not going to understand this, because I remember at 3K a month, I felt rich. At 5K, not 5K a month, at like 10K a month, I generally felt like I had a lot of money. And I understand how that might feel. But once you actually start like living life, you start seeing the things around you, like, it is fuck all. Absolutely fuck all. And if that fucking offends you, then you're a bitch. That's number one. And two, just make more money. Why would you put 10K a month on a pedestal? It is so fucking stupid. It is so fucking stupid. If you're working a job right now, if you're in school, or you're doing some shit, you're following a path that you don't understand, and you're trying to like justify your reasonings as to why you're on this path or why you can't make something work, you are a bitch. With all due respect, you are a bitch. Because like, you have the vision, you have the fucking goal. If you made it this far in the video, that's 42 minutes staring at another man speak in a fucking random ass Dubai B&B, like no captions, no music, no cuts, no nothing, just raw fucking video. And there's really no difference. The entire purpose of this video is to show you that there's literally no difference between me and you. There is none. And if there is, you can transform yourself. I was never this guy that was like fucking more outgoing or fucking, I want to get rich and this and that. And you retire my mom and you retire my dad. I was never like that. Growing up, I was very fucking normal. I genuinely did not give a fuck about any of this. And then I just transitioned that based on life experience, based on me genuinely telling myself, you know what, I'm not going to live this life anymore. And that was all it took. It was just an overnight change. Or, well, it looks like an overnight change, but it's actually an accumulation of all these things in the past. So for you, analyze your life. Look back at the times where you were growing up and you were trying to figure out what is going on. I feel lost. I feel this, because I guarantee you none of you guys have shit figured out. And if you think I have shit figured out, you're gravely mistaken, because that feeling never goes away. You're constantly figuring things out. Even the guy that's at $1 million a month, even the guy that's making $10 million a month, they don't have shit figured out. I guarantee you everybody has their set of problems. Everybody has their own things about life. Not everything is shown online. Not everything is put to the surface. There's a lot of different things that go inside your head. There's a lot of different things inside your own fucking iMessage to your boys. If someone saw my iMessages in some of these group chats, I might get convicted, and you're going to get convicted too. And you know that for a fact. So let's not lie and imagine that everything is all good and all roses and fairy dust. It's not fucking true. This is real life. Okay. And the faster that you can come to this realism and understand that like you can be realistic, but your perception of what is realistic needs to change. If your idea of realistic is making 10K a month and working and having your wife work, which is disgusting, first of all, But having your wife work with you to have a joint family income, and you're going to have kids, and you're living in suburbs, and you're going to buy a nice car maybe 5 years down the line, and you're going to invest your money in the fucking S&P 500 to get an 8% return on your fucking 10K investment and make $80 or fucking $800 after a year, you are just doomed to fail. Life is so much better once you have money. And that is something that I can understand now. And therefore, I want even more money. Maybe I didn't understand it then. Maybe you didn't understand it then. But you sure as hell better understand it now, because I'm telling you, if you genuinely sit there and you lock in and you just fucking tell yourself, it does not fucking matter what happens in my life. I don't care what obstacles I overcome or what obstacles I'm faced with. I will overcome them. I will find a way around them. I will find a solution. And it will work. And if you can repeat that to yourself every single day, just the same way that I did, because I generally practice the law of attraction, I literally wrote on a fucking card, I am actively running a 7-figure e-commerce brand. And I wrote that down at the end of December. 2 weeks later, I found my product. 2 weeks later, I found my product. Within 6 months, that was my goal for all of 2025. That was my only goal in 2025, and I doubled that shit. How crazy is that? The start of this year, I was down $15,000. And this month alone, or last month, I made $100,000 US. Like, I won't sit here and lie. Some of it was a little bit inflated because, I ran like a mentorship and this and that, whatever. But out of that 100K, at least 70% of that was from ecom. So I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And my monthly income from my Discord is literally sub 15% of what I make in a month. So anybody that says, oh, he makes money from a course, you're fucking retarded. You're fucking retarded. If I'm gonna give you information, sit down, absorb the information, you see the life I'm living, or you see where I'm at, the possibilities I have. Maybe some of you guys wanna go to clubs and do all this party shit, whatever. I could do that. I'm in a position to do that. If you are not, and that's something you wanna do, cool, all power to you. At least get into that position. If I'm in a position to do that, just fucking listen to me. It's so simple. Just listen to me. Understand there's no difference between us. Understand that you can curate your own fucking reality. And I guarantee you, wait for me in a year's time, in 2 years' time, and you still see me online, or maybe I'm off the fucking grid, who knows? But if I'm still on socials, and if you still see my videos or my content online, you will see me in a position that is incomparable to my first TikTok video, to my first YouTube video, to my first Instagram reel or my Instagram post. It will be incomparable. And if you sit there and your life looks the exact same 2 years from now as it does today, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should look in the mirror and call yourself a bitch, because that is what it comes down to. Self-hatred will lead to growth, and will lead to growth much faster than you think. So hate your life because it's good. It's good to hate your life if you genuinely do. Because a lot of the times you should be grateful for the life that you have. You should be grateful for the opportunities that you do have, but maybe you're a little too comfortable. Maybe staying at home, following this normal path is comfortable. I'm gonna scroll TikTok, I'm gonna do all this shit. Maybe you actually like that shit. And maybe you don't give enough of a fuck to want it bad enough to actually change your circumstances, change your life, change the life for the people around you. And I will leave it on this. It is so much more rewarding to change the lives of the people around you and the people that you care about than it is for yourself. So don't get caught up with all this materialistic shit. Don't get caught up with all this extra shit. If anything, the materialistic shit, for example, if I buy a car, if I buy a watch, it is purely for my own personal gain. I'm not buying that car to flex on the internet or say, hey, I bought this car. It is purely for me. It is my own self-achievement. It will improve my own self-image. It will show me that the money I've made, the work that I put, the fucking sweat, tears, I didn't bleed, but the sweat and tears that I put into this shit over the course of multiple years led me to this point where I have put that money, which is just a fucking number on a screen, into a real tangible fucking liability. And fuck you. I don't give a fuck about fucking real estate and stocks and all this shit. If I want a supercar at 21, I'll get a supercar at 21. I'm not gonna wait till I'm fucking 27. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares if you have a supercar at 27? But 21, that's pretty sick, no? So, if that's something you wanna live, if that's the life that you wanna live, lock yourself in your room, don't fucking talk to anybody for literally months. 6 months, 12 months, and wallahi, I promise you, if you can think about what you're trying to do, let's say ecom. I'm gonna use ecom as this example, and I promise I'm ending the video here, okay? If you can, let's say you wanna do ecom, If you can wake up, think about ecom when you wake up. Work on ecom throughout the entire day. Think about ecom while you're driving to the gym. Think about ecom while you're working out. Think about ecom while you're driving back from the gym. Think about ecom while you're cooking food, while you're eating food, watching ecom videos. If you can sleep and hear fucking Shopify notifications in your sleep, wake up, check your phone in the middle of the night and you see no notifications, you get sad, you try and go back to sleep, but you can't because you're questioning why your life is so shit. And then you wake up and you do the same shit again the next day. I promise you follow that shit for 6 to 12 months and your life will change in ways you cannot even imagine. You cannot even imagine the fucking quality of life that you can experience. And one last thing, for any of you that says, oh, I'm here for the afterlife, I don't care what I get in this life, you have an opportunity that billions and billions, if not trillions of people didn't have. For you not to abuse the opportunity that you have, this beautiful aspect of life, if you do not have, all these things, like you could have been born in a third world country, you could have been fucking given just terrible cards at life. If you have a Wi-Fi connection, if you're living in the first world country, you have much bigger opportunity than everybody else out there. And you not capitalizing on that opportunity is a disservice to you, your family, your ancestors, and your entire fucking bloodline. So stop being a bitch, log the fuck in, get back to work. And if you are poor, do not be proud of anything because being poor, there's no nobility in it. And that's all.